Now on 767 News. Still no completion date for the National Abattoir. Tommy Lee fiasco may be settled out of court. Individuals to benefit from grief and loss workshop. And in sports, primary school championship yields positive results. Welcome to 767 News, Dominica's #1 news source. I am Rima Alfred. When 767 News returns, we'll bring you the latest news and developments.
Be part of the excitement. Tune in to the Tiny Green Show every other Monday on Digicel Play TV, Channel 3.
Welcome back. First up this news time. Following years of anticipation, still there is no confirmed date on the National Abattoir, which was scheduled to be completed in 2013. Alicia George has the latest on this story.
I'm standing on site in Layu Park, and behind me is a 6.1 acre property where the National Abattoir is supposed to be housed. In 2010, the government promised pretty much that by 2013 or late 2013, the abattoir would be completed and we would see the production of pigs and poultry into final food products. That in itself would have been served or sourced on the local market and would engage many livestock farmers and other persons involved in agriculture. According to the government, it is supposed to pretty much develop and advance development in the agricultural sector. But we're in 2015, and to date, as you can see at the back of me, there's pretty much nothing going on. We have vacant lands, there's an empty trailer, unfinished buildings. And we have nothing to say, okay, this is going to be finished in the next couple of months or by the end of 2015. So 767 News, like many Dominicans, are wondering what is happening with the National Abattoir that was supposed to employ several, probably hundreds of livestock farmers and agriculturists. Was it just an election gimmick? Has the money run out? Was it not enough? I mean, we need an update and we need to know what's going on. If you have any views on this, or you'd like to speak more about this, or if you're an authority and you're watching right now, we'd be more than happy to welcome a conversation on the abattoir and agriculture and the development of agriculture and where it is heading in 2015. Once again, I'm Alicia George reporting for 767 News on site of what's supposed to be the abattoir in Layu Park.
In other stories, Attorney General Levi Peter says the fiasco involving Jamaican artist Tommy Lee and the government of Dominica may just be settled out of court. The 26-year-old artist, whose real name is Leroy Russell, along with his 3-member team, Tiasha O'Reilly Russell, Junior Fraser and Mario Christopher Wallace, were deported from the country one day after their arrival to perform at a concert in Portsmouth in February of 2014. Since then, Russell has threatened to take the matter to the Caribbean Court of Justice. He said the removal of him and his entourage from Dominica was a breach of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas that governs CARICOM, and that they received that kind of treatment because they were Jamaicans.
There's communication between the Attorney General's chambers in Dominica and the Attorney General's chambers in Jamaica. Hopefully, there will be more to say over the next week or couple of weeks. But there's communication between us.
Peter said, despite the communication between the two countries, a settlement is yet to be reached.
But obviously, as I indicated previously, if it appears right from the discussions between us that the matter should be settled amicably, that is to say outside of court, then of course that's what will happen, because common sense sometimes has to prevail.
The fiasco began when the Dominica Association of Evangelical Churches had denounced the artist's appearance at the concert, citing his music glorifies Satan and promotes lawlessness and violence. Russell and his entourage alleged they were placed in inhumane conditions before being forced to leave the island. The government of Dominica said they were denied entry in the interest of the public safety. Digicel Dominica Home Makeover Project moved into the second phase last Saturday. This segment was executed in partnership with Harris Paints Dominica Limited, a few members of their staff, and Digicel, as well as Digicel Play. Earlier this year, Digicel formally announced that Eugenia Frampton of St. Joseph was the home makeover winner, following several home renovation submissions from across the island. Frampton is a long-serving volunteer at the Caleb John Laurent Primary and has not allowed her physical challenges to impede her mission. According to management at Digicel, the company is looking forward to assisting Frampton and her family by providing them with a more comfortable home. In more stories, Parliamentary Representative of the Roseau Central constituency, Honorable Joseph Isaac, is calling on society to advocate on behalf of women. He made the appeal during an address at the Dominica National Council of Women annual general meeting held at the National Development Foundation's conference room on Monday.
It is because women are our first leaders. Our first leaders as parents, our first leaders as grandparents, and our first leaders as the rock of the family. A world without women, can you imagine how it would be? So only for that reason that every man and other women must understand that we must advocate on gender balance and empowering women in Dominica and the world.
Honorable Isaac said education, training, business development, healthcare, and poverty eradication are some of the areas that need to be explored in the empowerment and advocacy movement for women.
Although we must understand that women in Dominica have been really blaze trendsetters. Understand the Oxford trade in Dominica. It is really and have been led by women for hundreds of years. They are brave, penetrating the channels to access the markets of Guadeloupe and Martinique, St. Martin. And even before that, you would see women moving from, let's say, Montserrat to Dominica to establish societies.
The Roseau Central constituency parliamentary representative said the success of women, including Dame Mary Eugenia Childs and Vernice Bellany, both major contributors in the field of politics, in addition to Josephine Dublin Prince and Cece Calderin, Mikel Henderson and Yvonne Alexander.
We must agree that these women have done their share and played their part. Although we might want to focus on just the positive, we need to also reflect on the negative. As my esteemed colleague earlier highlighted some of the statistics affecting women in regards to emotional, financial, sexual, and physical abuse, we must guard against that. We, as men and women in Dominica, must stand against it, take a stand, and where appropriate, report to the police.
Honorable Isaac also appealed to the government and the private sector to assist the Dominican National Council of Women to ensure the objectives for this year and future can be achieved. The DNCW is a non-governmental organization concerned with empowering Dominican women and families. We take a break to recognize the sponsors, but stay tuned. More stories when 767 News returns.
Let's see how easy it is to play Powerball and win. Simply select 4 numbers from 1 to 30 and a Power Pick number from 1 to 5, and that's it. You have just selected your winning numbers for Powerball, or just get a quick pick and let the machine select your lucky numbers for you. Remember, Powerball is drawn every Wednesday and Saturday from 9 p.m. Powerball from the Dominica National Lottery.
Join in, have some fun, enjoy yourself. Come on.
It's my time, it's your time, it's our time. Another exciting local show comes to your screen on Digicel Play TV Channel 3. When? Every Thursday from 9 p.m. Join host JL Joseph with stimulating chit-chat about what's up, what's on, music, entertainment, arts and craft, and much more. We'll talk business, leisure, holidays, and family, all to engage our viewers on various aspects of life. Join us for Our Time, where we talk about absolutely everything, right here on Digicel Play TV.
Thanks for staying with us. A Roseau man who was maliciously set ablaze and who eventually succumbed to his injuries was laid to rest earlier this week. We now go to Tanya Green with a report.
It was an emotional time on Monday, March 30th, as Roseau resident Davidson baby Daisy was laid to rest. Daisy was on Saturday, February 7, set on fire while he slept in an abandoned building he called home opposite the Roseau Seventh-day Adventist Church. Reports are that at about 9 a.m., he was the victim of this heinous act, allegedly perpetrated by an individual he owed a meager $30 for drugs he purchased the day before. Daisy, who was a patient at the Princess Margaret Hospital since the incident, died on Sunday, March 22nd. Father Franklin Coffey, who was the presiding priest during Daisy's funeral ceremony at the Roseau Roman Catholic Church, said we needed to all respect life.
But I visited him a number of times in the hospital. I understood he got the care that anybody in his state would get. But in my last moment with him in the hospital shortly before he died was a glass of milk filled to the brim right next to him in his bedside, and that did something to me.
Father Coffey said a family member of Daisy, who works on the ward at the hospital, said Daisy was transferred from the intensive care unit, and she's of the view that Daisy received the best of care while at the Princess Margaret Hospital.
But it is a sad day when, again, in our little community, irrespective of the person. Actually, it was Father Callistus from St. Lucia who gave the homily at the funeral celebration. And his emphasis, he began by talking about the significance of human life. He said, only God gives life, and we have to protect life from the womb to the tomb. And he said, nobody has the right to take the life of anybody. You know, and it really struck me. You know, he was very forceful about it, the significance of life.
Father Franklin Coffey told the funeral service we all need to respect life, irrespective of race or social status.
If a man is on the street, paro, vagrants of whatever, the name that we label them with today, you know, we have to recognize, you know, it is a life, it's a human life, and God is the creator, God is the author of life, and we have no right to take life, whatever the circumstances.
An estimated 75 persons attended the funeral service of Daisy, which according to Father Franklin Coffey was a good send-off. Daisy was well known for washing vehicles across the bridge in Pottersville. The police investigation into the matter continues.
In other stories, the public, particularly persons who are grieving for various reasons, are being advised to take advantage of the second Grief and Loss Retreat under the theme, Finding the Meaning in the Missing. Certified grief counselor Father Franklin Coffey, who will be one of the facilitators, said they can only cater to 20 participants, so time is of the essence for interested persons.
Now, from our last experience, People thought it was a very powerful experience. They thought one day was not enough. But again, it's a beginning, and we're hoping that it will grow. We are catering for people who are bereaved. And when we talk about loss and grief and bereavement, again, the first thing that comes to mind is death. But we have people who are separated and are going through painful experiences because of divorce, because of separation. The children are affected whenever there are losses. When there is a death, there are children who are quote-unquote out of the picture. For instance, you wonder why the children are behaving in certain ways in school, but they're not being catered for, in that particular situation.
He said individuals who are also diagnosed with various illnesses are also found grieving and need help. Coffee said recovery can be a long journey, as the bereaved long for the pain to pass but do not want to forget the person who has passed away. This is especially difficult in the case of sudden or traumatic death, or where the caregiver devoted their life to the care of the person.
So we are offering this retreat for anybody who feel they need assistance. You're most welcome. And we say we're finding meaning in the missing. And we are using the creative art to help you look at yourself, look at your story, look at the pain that you're going through. And for us, the most important thing, we're hoping at the end of the workshop, we'll have what we have ongoing support group. For me, what I think is lacking is in our communities after the happy hour is the support system is not in place, and there are a lot of people who are hurting as a result of that.
Coffee stated support groups in various communities will significantly aid in assisting the individuals who are grieving island-wide. Finland artist Barbara Free will also host an artistic session with the participants.
At our first workshop, what she did, she used paint brushes and so on, and most of us were right-handed, and she encouraged us to use our left hand to use the paint brushes. And the significance of that, she says, is to use another side of our brain. And it helps us relax a bit, it makes us feel at home, so that we could enter into our story and make us feel more free to share, hurts. And there are many people that what you call accumulated grief, things that happened long time ago, and we was able to enter within ourselves and share those stories with one another.
Grief and Loss #2 is scheduled for April 18th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Holy Redeemer Retreat House in Eggleston. Interested individuals should call Lifeline Ministries on telephone number 449-8593 or the Retreat House on telephone number 448-6776. Participants are being asked to bring a photograph of their deceased loved one and an item that reminds them of the person. Have you received bizarre news or pranked anybody today? Well, happy April Fool's Day. Popular since the 19th century, April 1st has long been recognized as a day to celebrate foolishness and prank friends, family, and associates. Tanya Green has more on the history of April Fool's Day.
Have you received bizarre news or pranked anybody today? Well, happy April Fool's Day. Popular since the 19th century, April 1st has long been recognized as a day to celebrate foolishness and prank friends, family, and associates. Despite having no official recognition, April Fool's Day is about making other people look stupid using practical jokes. The custom of setting aside a day for the playing of harmless pranks is recognized everywhere. But just how did April Fool's Day or All Fool's Day come about? Figuring out the origins of the holiday can be as tricky as getting to the source of a joke, according to an article from news.discovery.com. Some writers suggest that the restoration of January 1st as New Year's Day in the 16th century was responsible for the creation of the holiday. Prior to the 15th century, European nations and city-states operated using the Julian calendar. However, around the 16th century, the Gregorian calendar moved the date of the new year from April 1st to January 1st. Some pioneers of April Fool's Day include the Roman Festival of Hilaria, the Holy Festival of India, and the medieval Feast of Fools. Elaborate practical jokes have appeared on radio and TV stations, newspapers, websites, and have even been performed by large corporations. Reporting for 767 News, I am Tanya Green.
Now, the latest in sports is coming up next with Larry, so stay tuned.
Count your Thursdays and win up to $24,000 in cash. For every $9 spent on Big 4, you get a raffle ticket to enter our weekly draws to win $4,000 cash every Thursday for 6 weeks. The more you spend, the more tickets you get, the better your chances of winning every Thursday. That's $24,000 in cash. So play Big 4, count your Thursdays and win up to $24,000 in cash. Only from the Dominica National Lottery. Promotion starts from February 24th to April 2nd.
Pay absolutely nothing down and nothing further until Easter this carnival at Courts. Yes, it's time to head down to Courts and get everything for your home today and pay absolutely nothing until Easter. Offer applies to credit purchases 24 months and over. Plus, we'll even give you a chance to trade in your old item for something brand new for a nice discount. Up to $400 off. We'll even haul away the old item when we deliver the new. You've got to rush down to Courts today and enjoy this carnival with nothing down and absolutely nothing to pay until Easter. Plus, trade in for a discount. Courts, bringing value home.
Good evening and welcome to 767 Sports. In tonight's coverage, we begin with cricket. A number of games are scheduled for this weekend for the 2015 season of the Dominica Cricket Association. In the Digicel Augustus Gregoire Premier League on Saturday and Sunday, Nagico Northern Stars will battle Dubla United at the Benjamin's Park in Portsmouth. In the Fort Young Hotel Dominica Cricket Association Intermediate League on Saturday, April 4th at the Botanical Gardens, it will be Marino Blasters versus Ruben Bakery Christian, while at Dubla, P.H. Williams Collier will face Fruta Maho United. On Sunday, April 5th, Grassroots Cricket Academy will do battle with the Police Sports Club at the Botanical Gardens, while at Dubla, Surgical General Somerset will face Fashkas Summit. In football, Sports Coordinator Trevor Shillingford says the Sports Division's Primary Schools Football Championship has been yielding positive results in youth football on the island. He made the statement during a recent ceremony ahead of the semi-final and final games in the 2015 National Bank of Dominica-sponsored Sports Division's Primary School Football Championship.
The National Bank of Dominica has been true partners with us in the development of youth football on the island. Their contribution of $15,000 towards the staging of this championship has gone a long way in ensuring that the next generation of Dominican footballers are in order.
Shillingford said it is important that young footballers adhere to the rules of referees while engaged in the sporting activities, as this serves as a form of discipline.
I want to also encourage you to continue playing the sport of football. It is one which you will stand to derive benefits if you give it your all and you put forward the various skills that you are taught during your training session. This championship has had a serious impact on Dominica's football. And I know many among us always love to see instant success. But I always say development is an incremental process. And we started the process in the National Bank of Dominica at the primary schools level, the very grassroots level. And we do hope that coming out of this program, Dominica's football will reap the benefits.
The sports coordinator said the sports division is impressed with the impact that of the primary schools football competitions are having on students. He said there have been heightened interest in football at the youth level and football academies are in demand. He added the competition has also contributed to the expansion of secondary schools' football programs. In football, the Playoff League of the Dominica Football Association, DFA, will kick off this week as action continues in the National League of the DFA. In a doubleheader earlier this evening, Cube Cheese Barbershop Bath Estate took on RIC Kensborough at 5 p.m., followed by Petro Caribe Point Michel versus ACS Tarish United at 7 p.m. Public Relations Officer of the DFA, Gerald Judge, has more on the schedule.
In another doubleheader on Thursday, Sideman All-Stars will come up against Nemesis United at 5:30 p.m., while at 7 p.m. it will be Element Agencies and the Stars versus Kenfield Football Club. All matches will be played at the Bath Estate playing field. Meanwhile, in the All-Island League on Saturday, Digicel Juvenile Newtown Academy will take on Haitian Angels at the Newtown playing field at 5 p.m., while at Casibus playing field, White River Ballers of Danis will come up against Casibus at 3 p.m. And at the Bath Estate playing field, Focole Classics will battle Goodwill All-Stars at 5 p.m.
In basketball, in Week 1 of the Dominica Amateur Basketball Association 2015 National League, the Premier Division Player of the Week award went to Ronald Bruno of the Fast Cash Prowlers. In a 94-84 win over Fashion 9 Falcons, Bruno finished with 23 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 block, while shooting at an outstanding 91% from the field. The Division 1 Player of the Week award goes to Hassan Etienne of the Intellico Security Raiders. He scored 12 points and had a season-high 18 rebounds in a win against Kyrie FM Old School. Each player will receive a $25 lunch voucher sponsored by Your Choice Restaurant, where what you want is what you get. And in cricket, having been at the center of controversy in recent weeks, Mustafa Kamal has announced his resignation as the president of the International Cricket Council (ICC) following a public falling out with the governing body.
According to reports, Kamal, who hails from Bangladesh, announced his resignation at a press conference in Dhaka, where he was openly critical about the way the ICC was functioning under the stewardship of N. Srinivasan. AHM Mustafa Kamal maintained that the game's governing body had denied him the right to give the World Cup trophy at the post-match presentation ceremony of the World Cup final on Sunday, and therefore he was resigning. The trophy was handed over by ICC Chairman N. Srinivasan despite the ICC's amendment of its rules in January 2015 to mandate that ICC President is supposed to give trophies at global competitions. Kamal also warned of revealing information from within the governing body after he returns home.
Kamal appeared to have questioned the integrity of match officials following a decision involving Rohit Sharma during Bangladesh's Cricket World Cup quarter-final defeat to India. He said these type of people should be away from cricket as they are polluting the game. And that's it for tonight's Sportscast. Tune in again tomorrow for more sports news.
That was Larry with the latest in sports. Now for a recap of tonight's headline. Still no completion date for the National Abattoir. Tommy Lee fiasco may be settled out of court. Individuals to benefit from grief and loss workshop. And in sports, primary school championship yields positive results. And that's all for now. Until tomorrow. Drop us an email at media@767news.dm. And also like our 767 News pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. From all of us here at the 767 News production team, I am Rima Alfred. Thanks for watching.